Today I'm going to explain to you how the mythical islands are part of the Nordic region, and the fact that this is so unintuitive to us today is the very reason why they seemingly disappeared. The very first thing you have to understand is that the ancients viewed Scandinavia as an island or even an island world, right? They didn't view it as a peninsula. You have to get that out of your head for this to make sense. And is it very much true, which I will show you here right now. Ptolemy depicted Scandinavia as an island, a small island, even, like this. Very shrunk. And then you have Pliny, who said that in the Germanic region there was a gulf called Cordanian, which was filled with islands, and that the most famous among which was Scandinavia. So here again, Scandinavia is an island. And you also have Jordanes, who made the history of the Goths, and he said that in the farthest bound of the western expanse it has another island named Thule, and in the same sea in the Arctic region in the north there's a great island named Skansa. So all learned say that Skansa is supposed to be Scandinavia, and of course it's supposed to be, because the very word Scandinavia means island. This is Proto-Germanic, Skandinavio. This is the proto version of Scandinavia, where the ending avio means island. So Scandinavia means Skadin Island. Right? Another version of this word is in Old Norse, Skanö, and a means ö in modern Swedish. So Skanö, Skanö is Skan Island. And it has the same root as Scandinavia, Skandinavio. So there's no wonder that these Scandinavia islands are islands, because the very word means island. And inversely, the word Nisos, which is island in Greek, comes from the word for promontory and cape, which became a word for island in Greek. So there also have another reason for the mistake why the peninsula became an island, right? I showed this in the last video, but I thought I'd just throw this in here. And then we also have Pomponius Mela, who made Scandinavia into this little thing here. It is just a bunch of islands, right? This is like the archipelago. And you have the Amber Islands, which I've talked about in another episode. Abalus, Basileia, and Bandomana. And I would say that Basileia is the most interesting one here, because Basileia is the same word as the mother goddess of Atlantis, which is then, of course, then the motherland, the land itself of Atlantis. And all of these islands are said to be where amber is produced. And they are above Germany, all of them. And the ancients, they knew that amber was produced in the Baltic. They were quite clear on this. Again, back to Pliny, who said that in the Cordanian there was the island called Scandinavia. He continues later on that other islands in this sea are Scandia, Dumna, Bergos, and Nerigos, from which one can reach Thule. So Scandia is, of course, something like Skanö, Skandinavio, Skan Island, again, right? But this is probably supposed to be Skåne, the southern tip of Scandinavia, instead. I'm not going to go into these words right now because of time, but Bergos is Bergen in Norway, and Nerigos is, of course, then Norge, Norway again. So you can see quite clearly that these are supposed to be place names on the peninsula, which was mistaken for islands. And they thought of this as separate islands like this because that is a very prominent feature of this place. Scandinavia is actually the most island-filled part of the world, bar fucking none. I mean, it's not even close in the rest of the world, right? These three countries, Sweden, Norway, and Finland, is Fennoscandia. They have 13 times more than second place of Canada. I put this together because this is a very small region. It's this little region, right? It looks big here, but it's actually really small, these three countries together. And these three countries together is the Nordic region. This Nordic region is by far the most island-filled. Second place is 13 times less. So compared to the rest of the world, I mean, it's simply, if you take per beach kilometer, it's even 30 times more. I mean, so yeah, it's a home run. This is an island world, right? So it's actually quite understandable why they made the place names into small islands, because it pretty much looked like this when you sail into this region, especially without a compass in the ancient world, right? When you wanted to see the shoreline to navigate, then you have to snake through these small channels here. So we can surmise that misunderstood islands are actually part of Scandinavia's ancient geography, right? And denying then that the mythical islands can be even conceivably part of Scandinavia is then a cardinal sin of history called anachronism, when you apply modern understandings onto the past. So when you say that the mythical islands can't even conceivably be Scandinavia because but Scandinavia is a peninsula, it's not an island, so how can that make sense? Then you apply modern understandings onto the past, and the past didn't have this understanding of it as a peninsula. I've shown you now that they view this place only as an island. There's no single source that says that this is a peninsula. All of the sources which says anything about its geography say that it is an island. And I've shown you now that even the place names have been scattered into separate small islands as well. So yeah, today no one even suspects this as a peninsula. We apply our modern conception onto the ancient. Cardinal sin. Don't do it. Now I have shown you how it is even conceivable that the mythical islands are applicable to the Nordic region. In the next video, I will show you some examples.